Chris said 4 weeks and I said 2.
Reading things like, I'd never put my family in danger like that. Why would you take your children to India?
It probably was, out of all the countries we've been to, the hardest scam to work out.
Somebody had grabbed Bella's arm. Bella had yelped out. And you just turned around and told her straight, get off.
You see these content creators that are like, you're getting scammed if you're not bartering and if you're not getting a good price. When you convert the money and you realise the service that you're getting, you're the one being super tight.
Hello and welcome back to the Dare to Venture podcast. This is season 2, episode number 2, and I am your host, Chris.
And I'm your host as well, Tamira.
Welcome back to the show. We hope you enjoyed last week's episode. We were so pleased to be back, and now we are back with a brand new one this week.
We have got a few visual differences, and this is a debate that me and Chris had kind of all week. We've been noticing that podcasts aren't podcasters. Is that what you kind of call?
Yeah, I think podcasters.
Okay. They're not wearing headphones as much. So we've gone with not wearing headphones this week.
We're headphoneless. And
I feel a little bit naked.
Hopefully it's going to be okay. Our ears are naked if you're listening at home or in the car. But if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see that we haven't got headphones on. So hopefully this is still coming across okay. We're trying it without headphones because we've noticed a lot of other podcasts, they're not wearing headphones anymore. And I don't know whether it's just because
more comfortable, I don't know.
It's definitely more comfortable because you can't hear yourself talking in your ear. But we're giving it a bit of a trial today on this episode, and I think it's only important if you've got more than 2 people. So if you've got a group of people, you can hear who is talking, so you're not kind of talking over each other. So that is what I think the theory is on headphones. But we're giving it a go today.
We're giving it a go. We're giving it a go, but we are very aware that I have a very loud voice.
Yes.
So when I wear the headphones, I can kind of hear how loud I'm being and stop projecting as much. So if I come across a little bit shouty, we will look at it, and for the week after us, we'll be wearing headphones.
I'll be turning it down when I'm editing it, don't worry.
Okay, so that's a little bit of difference this week. We've kind of mixed up around a little bit. And this week, we are going to be talking all things India.
Yes.
We're going to explore all the way through everything that we thought about it, what we experienced, what is true that you see about India, what isn't true, and if we actually do suggest that families should travel India or is it not safe. So we're going to go through all of that and our real experiences of being there. But before we go through with that, we're going to go with what is new this week. And I actually really enjoy this feature because Chris seems to forget everything, and then he says some odd stuff that I didn't realise that we did. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy what Chris is going to say about what is new this week with you. What's
new with me? Basically, since September last year, I've had a knee injury, quite a serious injury. I think it's a cartilage tear, slight tear. I can still, fully squat and lunge and stuff when I'm working out, and I can now jump, but I still can't run. And my knee, it just sort of feels like there's no kind of shock absorber, so it's quite uncomfortable when I run, which is really frustrating, and I can't sort of see myself ever being able to run again currently at the moment.
That's not true.
It's a bit of a nightmare. So I've been like sort of weighing up, do I get an MRI scan? But then, if I get an MRI scan, I'll only kind of know the issue. It won't fix the issue. So then I'm going to have to go into fixing the issue, which is a separate thing. Well, I need surgery. There's a little bit about me, like if I go for an MRI, will they tell me I need surgery? So I'm a little bit apprehensive about doing that. So and
unfortunately, if he does need surgery, we've already planned the next route and there is not enough time for any recovery right now. So we're just going to not get an MRI. So we just don't know what's going on.
Well, we're currently on a 5-week countdown, and yes, I have no idea what's going on inside my knee. I've just made estimated guess
with the help of AI.
Yeah, I've used ChatGPT to be my physio, and
he was deep in conversations when I came back the other day.
Yeah, I've gone through a full chat, breakdown of my symptoms, how long and all that stuff. And basically ChatGPT has given me a full rehabilitation program. So I am currently on that, and I've just finished week 1. My knee, surprisingly enough, doesn't feel much better, but apparently that's normal according to ChatGPT. And I've got another 5 weeks to go. So all being well, at the end of these 5 weeks, I will be able to use my legs to run again, but we'll see.
Okay, so that's what's new with you.
It's kind of what's consumed me this week. When you ask me these questions, it's kind of what's consumed me.
Okay, so do you think I should change the title to
What's Consumed Me This Week?
What's consumed you this week?
That is one major thing.
Any other updates?
Other updates are our YouTube videos are going really well, and we always kind of like to compare with our last year's performance. And last January, we didn't actually upload one YouTube video, and we hadn't even started doing this podcast yet. And I was like, at the start of this January, we are going to be better than we were last year. The aim is always to improve. So I set out my task of our goal for this year is 52 YouTube videos, so that equals to one YouTube video per week, and I've successfully done 4 YouTube videos this month, so 4 have gone up.
But Chris does do the majority.
With the help of my wonderful family, we have got 4 fantastic YouTube videos out. So if you haven't watched them, head over to our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. They're on there. And we also filmed episode number 1 of this podcast. So we did a lot in January, and I'm really proud of that. So that's kind of like another thing that has been consuming recently. And
well, I kind of want to touch on that because I think you've forgotten that actually we filmed a really good YouTube video last week. If you haven't watched it, go to the channel and check it out. And it's comparing how Penang is changing and developing, and is it becoming more like Dubai? And I think that we both really enjoyed going around and doing different experiences in Penang, because we use this as our base for kind of like the past like year or so coming to and from and whatever. So it means that we don't often go out and really experience Penang. We kind of get in our own rhythm, our own routine. So it's been really lovely this week to go out and experience it again and what's changed and comparing. And it was quite shocking to see what had changed. And you know what? We're going to let you into a little insight. That video, which is 22 minutes long?
Yes. 22
minutes long, took us as a family 3 days.
Yes. There's a little bit of a behind the scenes there. It looks like we pretty much filmed it all in the same day. But
we had to make sure that we were wearing the same clothes.
Until the last bit.
And it just, sometimes we're filming stuff and it's just inside stuff that sometimes we're not able to get it completely done within the day. Or it wasn't realistic, our plan of what we're going to do. Or one of the things was where we wanted to eat was actually closed on one of the days.
Yeah, and you know that it goes dark, you run out of time, you get stuck in traffic.
Yeah, we got stuck in traffic. That was quite bad. But we really enjoyed the experience of filming it. But yes, that 22-minute video actually took us 3 days to film.
It did.
And it took Chris 1.5 days to edit. So there you go. That's a little bit of insight. 22 minutes took nearly 5 days of our week last week.
Yes, it did.
So there you go. That's kind of what...
It's kind of like...
That is what consumed you last week.
Yeah, it is that as well. My knee problems. And towards the end of the week, something else that consumed my brain when I found more time
this is news to me.
A fantastic TV program that we've watched.
Oh no!
We're going to let you in on now. I want to give you a recommendation if you like to binge watch.
We shouldn't be binge watching, but we are accidentally.
Sometimes you just can't help it. It's like next one, quick. So we've started watching Hijack, which is on Apple TV, and it's got Idris Elba in it. And it was absolutely fantastic. We sailed through season 1. I didn't
breathe the whole way through. I feel like we're just talking
intense.
It was so intense.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a very, very good program. If you get shook up about flying.
Yeah, if you're going on any long haul flights anytime soon, which we are in
I don't know
weeks,
why we quite enjoyed watching it,
but it was really good.
It was really good, and I suggest watching it. But if you if you're a nervous flyer, potentially don't watch it.
Yes, maybe don't watch it, but it consumed me on the evenings. The aim was to get all my stuff done during the day, and then on a night we switch off and watch that. We binged through season 1, and season 2 has just come out, and I think there's 3 episodes of that, and we just started that last night. So that is a recommendation from us. Hijack on Apple TV.
There
very,
you go.
very
So
good.
that's what consumed Chris
They're the
last
things
week.
in my brain currently.
Okay, what's new with me?
Yeah.
Okay, we obviously did the filming, which took up a lot of the week, but also today we are filming this a little bit later in the week. It's actually Monday today, and it's bank holiday in Penang. It is bank holiday today, and where we go and train at the gym, a CrossFit gym, they had a community Hyrox simulation.
Yeah.
And as Chris said, he has got a bad knee and can't run. And normally, last time we doubled up and we did a joint. We did doubles. So this time I went and did singles, and I did the women's singles, and I was really worried about whether I was going to complete it. But I did this morning at 7 o'clock, managed to complete it. And I'm really, really happy with that. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up. I'm sitting with my legs crossed right now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to set up. I
did a relay version where I had a partner who did like the running for me because I just can't run. So I did the exercise part, a little bit of a lower version of what Tamara did. But that was literally 5 hours ago.
Yeah, not long ago.
Like so but we're feeling quite stiff.
We're feeling like high on the adrenaline. But I'm wondering if we're going to crash halfway through. Probably. Olivia also, we're so proud of her because with her friends from the gym, she created a relay and she was the youngest competitor.
Yeah, today.
And she did absolutely amazingly, smile on her face the whole time, and the girls that worked together, it was just a really heartwarming kind of moment. And then the younger two, Scarlett and Bella, were there just cheering on at the end. Kind of made me really emotional.
And stealing everyone's snacks.
And yes, I didn't have any snacks at the end because the girls had eaten all of the bananas. But I also had a massive cheer on from Chris, and
you did so
there
amazing.
Was the phrases that Chris was saying, shouting at my face, whilst mainly I was doing the burpees, was oxygen, Tamira, oxygen.
Well, this was when your lips were turning blue.
Slow it down, Tamira. It's not a race. This is what Chris was saying to motivate me.
I was concerned when your lips were blue and you were struggling to see, and I was like, okay, gonna have to bring the coaching in here. Let's slow it right down. I know that
he went from filming it on his phone to what those words were continuously coming out.
I know that your crocked gym partner can't help you out, so I could only try and give my voice from the sidelines. But
oxygen. Take your time. Yeah. It's not a race.
Yes.
There you go. And it got me through, and it
worked. And you did absolutely amazing. You smashed it. So that is what we did earlier today. So bear with us because we are slightly exhausted.
And also just thinking about Hyrox and whether we're going to compete in December in KL.
Because it's actually coming to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia now.
Yes, so for the first time.
This year.
Yeah.
So December is the first Hyrox in Malaysia,
and whether we can work out if we're going to be here because of our crazy plans this year. So we kind of got that in mind, but we're trying to draw our minds into what we have planned for this podcast and what you guys are listening for, not just about flying planes and them being hijacked or about Chris's knee injury, and let's see if we can focus our minds into not the pain of our bodies and all of everything that we experienced in India.
So India now it's coming up to 4 months since we went.
It doesn't feel like that.
Which is crazy, really. And it just shows you how much time goes quickly. But we spent 5 weeks there in total. And, the plan was originally to keep like an open-ended sort of leaving date.
No, let's be honest. Be really honest.
Yeah.
the plan was Chris said 4 weeks and
Yeah.
I said 2.
Yeah, there was like, we could do a month. The plan was to do a month because the visa that we got for India is like for 6 months.
Yeah.
No, actually,
it was a year. Yeah, we got a
12
year.
months.
Yeah.
So they gave us a 12-month visa, and it's multiple entry, but you can only stay, I think you can stay for like 6 months out of the 12.
Yes.
Coming and going, but it's valid for 1 year. So I was like, you know what, we can do a month. Let's try and give it a go for 4 weeks. But I knew full well that we had to have a bit of an open-ended leaving date just in case we had to get out of there. And you weren't too confident with it and were like, actually, I think we'll probably be able to manage 2 weeks. So it was kind of like...
I really pulled it down to like 2 weeks and wasn't sure about what me and the girls were going to experience going over.
Yeah.
So I was like, 2 weeks, let's just do it like that. And then let's move on to Sri Lanka. Because everything that you hear, everything that you see about India isn't really that welcoming to a family of 5, especially with 3 daughters. You just don't think it's...
You start to, ask questions, like certainly me as dad and husband, you sort of think, is it the right decision to go with what everybody's saying, with people giving us their opinions on it, or if they'd been there before and I'd asked them about it, they'd kind of give a little bit of it looked like they'd hesitate in answering, and it was like, is it going to be like the toughest travel decision that we've made? Is it going to be the right decision? Am I going to put us in danger? Is something bad going to happen? Like, all those things go through your head, but that's why we sort of went open-minded with an open-ended leaving date, and we had
quite a few options of if it started to go wrong, of what we were actually going to do. And one of the main tactics was staying somewhere in a more expensive. We spent a lot more on accommodation, in staying in nicer hotels, and if there was a problem, our idea was just to stay in the hotel and fly out. That was actually one of our plans to do, because we were so concerned about what we were going to experience going over there. We also made sure we trained up a lot to be able to be physically fit, healthy. We were concerned about our tummies, so we were taking probiotics. So all of this stuff, we were actually pretty nervous about going over there.
Yeah, definitely nervous. And we spent probably about 5-6 weeks preparing to go with training in the gym, with like you say, probiotics. We spent a lot of time preparing ourselves.
I was having quite a lot of vitamin D and vitamin C supplements at the time as well.
Like mentally and physically, we were really working on ourselves. And you might think like it sounds stupid to be training, because we did. We obviously love fitness and we're really into it. But we were
Don't talk about Hyrox.
we were training really hard, and a lot of it was to prepare us for going, because we've got 2 big rucksacks, we've got a big suitcase of all our stuff, everyone's got another bag each, and we've got 3 children. So we didn't know what the transport situation was going to be like. We didn't know whether we were going to have to like carry everything, and if there was any problems, pick the girls up and move quickly. And it's sort of like a real like preparation phase, and we really got ourselves in gear to go. And the butterflies were there, the nerves were there, but we did obviously just book it, plan it, and go for it. And by the time we were kind of heading there,
and when all of the planning of where the routes we were doing, we all got pretty excited about what we were doing.
The nerves kind of went, and like the travel head came on.
Until we announced to you guys, everyone, that we were going.
Yes.
And we got a second hard-hitting wave nerve set come in of just before we were leaving, people being worried about us going, which made us question ourselves right up until the moment that we were stepping onto... What plane was it again?
Air India. So not only did we... Like, you read the comments, and we do read comments. We read pretty much all of them. And, you know, reading things like, oh, I'd never put my family in danger like that. Why would you take your children to India? I would never do that. I can't believe you're going to India. You're going to get sick. Something bad's going to happen.
The girls are going to be touched inappropriately.
Yeah.
I am going to be touched inappropriately.
Yeah, there's, you know, you read them and there is a part of you that you do think about them and you do second guess yourself and question whether it's the right thing. And obviously as well, not so long ago, sadly, one of the Air India flights crashed, and it was actually one that was flying into London Heathrow.
Yeah.
So that happened. But, you know, we booked an Air India flight from Kuala Lumpur into New Delhi. And that was another thing of, like, you know, the comments that we got on that. Everyone was like, I'd never fly with Air India.
I actually felt like I was pretty much safe because there has been an incident that surely...
Like, what are the odds, basically?
Yeah.
I mean, we
Well, you've got to think like that. You can't think... But with everything that, like, all of the negative comments and everything else, surely if you live your life being worried and scared all the time, there's always a negative side, and there's always... If you start going down that rabbit hole, would you even step into a car
if
ever
you start
again?
overthinking, I mean, what are the odds on this thing? I mean, we fly Malaysia Airlines. We fly Malaysia Airlines in a few weeks on a long haul. And, you know, there's the famous Malaysia Airlines flight that just went missing and they never found it. If you start thinking about all
and
these
start
things,
digging,
then you
start watching Hijack.
Yeah. You won't even leave the house. So
hence we're just going to stay into the apartment for another week.
We're hiding out. But, you know, we are kind of like the people who don't really take other people's word for it and really take too much
I think
into
the
account.
nerves kind of turn into excitement, turn into adventure, it turns into the positive of us, and we always get super excited about it. We want to experience it for ourselves. We are prepared with what everyone has said, what everyone has warned us, and what we see, what we've seen on social media, but we definitely go in open-minded, big smiles on, but we've got all of our routines of where the girls stand. Serious rules are in place with the girls and how to act.
We're well drilled.
Pre-warn them. I'm sure I came home once to Chris giving the girls a self-defense class, which I'm not sure if you had read some bad comments on our social media about going to India, but there definitely was some kicking going on.
Bit of Thai boxing. But we're well drilled, and it's kind of like we had the armor on. We were physically and mentally ready to take it on, and we loved the challenge, and that excitement kicked in. The nerves went, the excitement kicked in, and we were ready to take on the challenge. And we feel it's kind of a big part of our job is to go and showcase these places and show people that actually this is what it's really like. As a family of 5, this is us. You follow us, you kind of know who we are, and this is what we're doing. We're going to show you this.
Exactly.
And we're going to give you our experience, and we're going to take it on. Let us be the people that go do it and give you that pathway.
And see if it's for you. I also think it's very important to be showing the girls different parts of the world as well. And they actually find it extremely interesting rather than just arriving somewhere, going onto a beach again, getting the swimming costume on, going for a swim. It's these challenges, they knew the dress set, they were dressed differently, they were doing different stuff, they had different clothes, and they get really excited about doing the research themselves as well. And I think it was so eye-opening for them, and such a different place that we have ever been to. And I think also our viewers see that the girls are really engaged and realise what worth that is to a child of actually seeing the world rather than holiday destinations.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that choosing to go to these places and travel and experience the world, and, you know, go, like I said on the last episode about traveling the road less traveled and going to places that people are a little bit apprehensive about, it kind of like really opens up your eyes. And I think that not just for us, but definitely for the girls, it is incredible world schooling, life experience. You build resilience up, and you go to these places and you might see eye-opening things and quite shocking things. But that allows you in the future to not feel as shocked or as, like concerned or whatever. You sort of feel like you're...
It's normalizing normal feelings that happen in the world. And this is something that I'd always say with the girls and within being in the educational system, there's simulations to make children feel anxiousness, so tests, stress, there's
like a time pressure.
Yeah, a time pressure. There's all of these simulations of this to get so you can work under pressure, you know how to feel emotions, not too extreme. Whereas, you can't, because the children aren't in school, you can't just go, okay, we're not doing any tests, we're not doing this. You don't have to learn how to deal with pressure. We can also get a little bit criticised for, did the girls feel anxious because you were worried about this? Did the girls feel this? Well, these feelings are for a real reason, that, yes, being anxious about maybe getting on the flight is an okay feeling, but then we overcome it and you move on forwards. So with world schooling and taking the girls to this place, I feel like they also see the time pressures of getting on a train. They see the stresses of, okay, that man's talking to mummy and we don't know what's going to happen and if we're going to get food right now or not. They're real life situations that they are learning about, and they're not simulations of what can happen
being
in real
created.
Life. Yes,
it's actually
there's a
real
reason.
Life.
Yes,
and it's what in the big wide world happens.
Yes,
and I think that the thing with the girls that's really evident is now that they've kind of grown up with this kind of lifestyle for the past few years. So yes, they're with their parents and they feel protected, which is our job, but they've also grown up with jumping on planes and getting off in places that we're not too sure about, and things go wrong, and then you're running around trying to find your way, or there's a language barrier and there's issues, and it's like 1 a.m. in the morning, or they've grown up with all these things that would cause anxiety and stress and panic. But as a family, not just the girls, as a family, we are really accustomed to it and we adapt to those situations. And I think because of our experience, it gave us that mental preparation to be able to go to somewhere like India and take it as we find it and be like, we're ready to. So
saying like that me and you were phased and we were feeling a little bit like whether it's going to be okay. Yeah. When speaking to the girls, they weren't phased one bit. No. Even with information that we were telling them of it might be like this might happen, you need to make sure that we're doing this, we have to stay close at all times. All of the talks that we were giving to them, they were not phased or worried or at any point say that they didn't want to go to India. Yeah. They were so excited researching. They were so excited watching other content creators on YouTube. That's where they do they've got quite a few people that they like following and seeing what they're doing. Yeah. And they knew the places that we were planning to go to, and they did all their research, and they were absolutely so excited about going. It was amazing for us to see. Yeah. And then that gave us a little bit more confidence as well. It did. But I think that when, the first biggie that we did, and it all kind of goes hand in hand, it went hand in hand with the progression of our social media and our career, and we got more successful and we grew more in that way, was when we went to China. That without a doubt, that was the first big place that we went that was like a unknown big nation with its own culture, so different to ours, massive language barrier, and that kind of was a learning curve, and then that allows you to then be able to take on more of these type of experiences like India, where again it's a massive nation, its culture and the way the lifestyle is completely different to what we know, and going there it is a culture shock in some aspects. There wasn't a language barrier because English spoken there is really, really
common, and we
That was one thing that was
yeah.
quite surprising because I wasn't expecting it. I actually thought it was going to be quite like China.
Yeah,
in
it was
that
kinda
respect.
like, I expect it to be like we land and this is India and this is what India is like and stuff like that. But
and people just barking at you in a different in Indian, just going at you. But it wasn't. Everyone was very well spoken,
really welcoming, really well spoken. They treat us with absolute respect all the way through, and
I think that was probably one of the main shocking things of, when we had arrived in Delhi and we had a really nice welcome into the hotel, which was to be expected. We were staying in a 5-star, weren't we?
Yeah, it was a Novotel. It was nice.
It was lovely. We had chosen that because we were in Delhi and there was between two accommodations. One that was a nice accommodation, but it was in a bit of a dodgy street area. And then we decided we stayed in it. Was it the Aero City?
Yeah, we stayed in Aero City, which is just around the corner from the airport, which is kind of really metropolitan and businessy, but also you've got like restaurants on there, and it's quite a nice new area. Or we could have stayed in the thick of it, if you like. And our decision was that we didn't want to jump in at the deep end straight away just in case. So it was the plan of getting a nice hotel in a nicer area from our research and going from there. So we were at a nice hotel, which really was the perfect start. But even out and about, coming into the airport, going out and getting a taxi, everyone was really welcoming, really polite. Everyone speaks English, really respectful. And I really got a sense of a lot of British influence in India. I really felt that.
I'm going to slightly disagree with the airport when we arrived.
Okay.
Because when we did first arrive, it was like that. But when we went back into Delhi, because we booked via Uber and we went to the Uber stand, it was quite barky at us in English, and they really wanted you to get into their Uber, and it was all confusing, and you couldn't tell who was your driver or who was trying to help you carry their cases so that you give them a tip, and they'll continuously bang on the door to give a tip, but you actually thought they were the driver that had the code for your Uber. So that was quite extreme, but that wasn't our first impression. But
that was the second time we flew into Delhi.
Yes, but it did happen. It did happen.
Because the thing you hear all the time, you search on social media, and a lot of people on social media film these things happening because it gets views and reaction. It's scams. And you hear a lot about being scammed and being tricked and being conned out of money and being treated really badly. And we had our guard up about that, and we were ready for that. But I think that the first initial experience of landing in Delhi worked really well, but the second time we came back in after going and experiencing the Himalayas, which was amazing, that was when we had pretty much our first encounter of a bit of scamming. And what it happens in many airports around the world, so many, that you get these kind of fake porters, or even in some circumstances the real porters. They have porter uniforms on, but they come and take your luggage without really asking, and then they put it on a trolley, and then you just know full well if you go along with it you're going to have to pay them even though you don't need them. In Delhi they didn't have uniforms on, and they were just kind of shouting Uber. And yes, we booked an Uber, but then they were taking our cases, and then they were loading up an Uber, and we thought it was our driver, but it wasn't. And it just
I would say that it probably was, out of all the countries we've been to, the hardest scam to work out.
Yeah.
And I did actually have the Uber already booked on my phone as well.
Yes.
So I was showing people because they were quite in our faces. And like you just said, we have been to many places that they are like that, but this is probably the most intense that I have felt it.
It was the most intense in terms of the kind of fake portering, and they will just pick up your luggage, and they will just take it, and they will just try and put it into the car, and then they want paying even though we didn't ask for help, and it's difficult. I think that was our first experience of being scammed or tried to be scammed. Actually, we didn't get scammed because all I did was just got in the car, the luggage
closed
got
the window, and
I
he carried
shut
on
the door
knocking.
and didn't even bother acknowledging the guy. So that does happen, and it is quite intense. But you know, when you go to India, you expect it, and we
I
did
just
have
want
our
to say
guard
as
up.
well, like you probably would have given him some money, but we actually didn't have any cash on
Yeah.
us at that point because we'd already spent it all in the Himalayas and didn't have any cash on us, and we were just paying by card to get the Uber.
So I would have.
You would have done, but it wasn't really a scam because like it's not. I think this is something that I've learned, and I'm now just going to go on to another subject that's coming to my mind. I'm really sorry, but sometimes this is a little bit of a moan about social media content creators in India because you put up stuff and you'll say how much things cost us. So we got on a rickshaw to go down into Old Delhi.
Yeah.
And you kind of start bartering a little bit, but these people, to them, they ask for money.
Yeah.
And when you convert it, you realise you're paying like £6 for them to ride you around on their rickshaw, which they're cycling, to the spots which you don't pay for. We didn't pay for the chai.
No, yeah,
we didn't pay for anything. And they're doing that for an hour for a family of 5, and you're going, oh, I don't know, £6 is a bit too much for us.
Yeah.
I remember in Northamptonshire getting driven 5 minutes down the road to the train station costing £12.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, you see these content creators that are like, you're getting scammed if you're not bartering and if you're not getting a good price, and you go in and you go, oh, I've got to have my bartering head on here because I don't want to get scammed. It's like,
But
actually, when you convert the money and you realise the service that you're getting, you're the one being super tight because you think you're going to be scammed and you're actually not.
Yeah, and actually what I've seen, like some of the videos, is they've managed to barter down and save themselves £1
or 20 pence.
Yeah, or 50 pence.
Yeah.
And that is something that we were really against. Of like, why would we try and save ourselves £1?
Yes.
Like, we can get this rickshaw ride for a £5 or £6, what he's asking when you've converted the rupees, and just give him the £6.
Yes.
You want to do it.
Yes.
He's not coming out with 20 quid.
No.
He's literally just coming out with £1 more than what what you've seen someone save online. It's like, it's just not worth it. And actually, what are you going to do? He's offering you it for £6, but you're going to try and cut him in half to get it for £3. And it's like, you know, it's not really fair. You can tell he's not over ripping you. I mean, if it was like 20, 30, 40, 50 quid. I mean, sometimes in places, it always is a bit dodgy when they talk in dollars and they ask for $100. I mean, that's just mental. And we have been in places where that happens. But in India, it was rupees, and you convert it, and it's literally like the pound. They're in the pounds. And I literally feel there's no point in trying to save 50 pence or a pound.
No. So anyway, our first experience of getting there, we were right into a 5-star hotel, and you expect, like, English was really widely spoken. It was really, really nice. Exactly what you expect from a 5-star hotel. It was absolutely lovely. We loved it there. But we walked out in Aero City, and the alarm bells started really ringing. To walk down a walking street, you had to go through heavy security. And it made you just wonder what is out and about in Delhi, because you hear all these stories and everything. We're like, going just to the convenience store, you've got to go through security, get your bag checked. The women go into a private area to get patted on down, and that was quite overwhelming when we were just going to the food court in the evening.
I think it's because it was like a brand new area, metropolitan area, and it was like airport security scanners, put your bag through. The bit that alarmed me was that we got into this new hotel, and the drive from the airport to the hotel was about 5 minutes, and there was nothing really shocking about it. It was like, oh, you know, the excitement kicked in. You saw the India flag at the side of the road flying, and you were like, we are in India, and we're ready to take it on. And so far, we've flown with Air India, we landed in the airport, we've got a taxi, everything's going well, we are here. And what, it's not as crazy as what everyone's thinking. But then when we got dropped off at the hotel, and we saw these Ubers coming in to pick people up.
No, to pick us up.
Well, yeah, one of them was to pick us up, but there were several of them. they all were battered and they had like massive dents.
Not talking about like a little scuff.
No, we're talking like massive bump hanging off, dents at the side of the door bashed in, and we were like, wow. Like, we need our helmets on here and we are going out. That was like our first experience of leaving this secure hotel grounds and going into Delhi itself to the Red Fort area. When that Uber turned up and the other cars around it were so battered, I was like, we're in for a ride here. We're going to be experiencing what everyone's been talking about.
100%. And that was quite a journey. We didn't move very fast throughout the journey, but you know, it was really, really interesting. But it's just thrown me to the thought of, right at the beginning of India, I was so concerned about getting scammed all the time that I bought the tickets online for the Red Fort. I think it cost like £10 for the whole family. I bought them online. I was like, right, I've got these, so we don't have to look about getting our money out at the front, and we don't want to, all of this I was really prepared for. Via the end, I remember clearly being in, I think it was Jaipur.
Yeah.
And we just walked up to, it was the astronomy place. You just walked up to the counter, you just got your ticket, and there's nothing.
Giving me cash, no problem.
And that was like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
We didn't have, that was how I changed within 2 weeks of me going, before we leave the hotel, we need to make sure that we've got everything. We don't need to show, money belts on, don't show your phones, like everything really, really tight, to then me being so relaxed 2 weeks later going, oh, we're just walking out. Yeah, we need this amount of cash. And it was safe. And there were security guards there. You're absolutely safe.
We're in the normal queues with everyone. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's busy and it's packed and you've got to have your wits about you.
Yeah.
But we were that's how we grew in confidence.
Yeah.
We were in the queues with the locals, getting our tickets with
I
our
hadn't
cash
pre-booked and done all my research to make sure it was 100% the right thing, and I wasn't getting scammed. I was like, okay, this is the line. And it says foreigners in that because it's a slightly higher rate for foreigners, which is like, we were just talking about like £1 or two more, which isn't a big deal at all. So that's how we changed within 2 weeks, which is absolutely insane.
So we definitely got more comfortable with being out and about in the local areas and not being too guarded and not having our armour on as such. But I do remember taking that first trip out of the hotel with all the dented cars and having our head on and sort of, our armour up. And the girls were prepared for it as well, because we had spoken to them about what it might be like and what the situation is. But as soon as we got out of the car at the Red Fort, it was really intense. And we all felt it as a family, and we just got together, again, do our usual sandwich formation. The girls are in between me and Tamira. And we sort of just took it on, because as we open the door, people are coming up to you. They're trying to get you to go on rickshaws. They're trying to get you to do a guided tour around the Red Fort. They're trying to sell you food there. It is really hustle and bustle. But what we'd said as a family is, you just head down, let's go through it. We expected it to be like that in India, and that was our first experience of it. And it was almost hold your breath, go in, hands are on, I've got the tickets pre-booked, we run through, keep your head down, we're through, breathe out, woo, and let's enjoy it. And that was our first experience. That was the first experience, and it was sounding like the girls were quite shocked, but they were fine because they'd seen the videos and they were ready for it, because it'd been explained that's what it's probably going to be like. In my mind, I was thinking, let's just get through it. It can't be like this all the way around the Red Fort, inside the Red Fort. There's got to be a breathing area of getting in the Red Fort and just being a tourist without any problems. But literally, as soon as we got a few sort of yards down the road, we kind of ignored everyone, blocked everyone off, and they weren't allowed to follow us beyond a certain area. So we actually walked round the outskirts of the Red Fort without really any problems, and that was quite calming and absolutely fine.
I think we really walking around the Red Fort when we were through as well. It was really calming. It was really nice.
No one hassled us.
One
thing did happen, which we need to tell everyone about. Which was, I'd say, probably the only time it was bad. And it was photos. And we'd gone with the decision that we weren't going to take photos of anyone.
Well, we'd gone through this decision because going through China, we found that a lot of people wanted photographs of us, and we were like, okay, yeah, and being really, really polite. And via the end of that day, we would have had no photos ourselves of the whole family outside wherever we had been, and then actually had really lost a lot of content. Because we weren't able to talk to the camera, weren't able to announce where we were. We'd be quickly shuffling on because we couldn't do it because there's people asking for photos, and we got stuck in that point. So we went for this scenario of we're at the Red Fort, we were only there for a couple of hours, and we were having to move on because we wanted to do other things in Delhi, and we were only there for 3 days. So we went with the fact of we're just going to say no. And as harsh as it sounds, I don't know where all those photos go anyway of us, which I understand it's nice. We're rare to be seen in India. We look different, and I understand. But we politely declined, and everyone was ridiculously respectable and just walked away.
Yeah,
it was okay.
They were really polite.
Yeah, and they said, "Oh, okay, no photo."
I mean, sometimes I would feel really rude because it'd be literally just going, "No, sorry." No, if you want one, everyone will want one. I'm sorry, you can't. No. And a lot of them, it's like, can I have a picture with the girls? Do you mind if I take a photo? And you just have to flat out say no, sorry. And they do just go, oh, okay, no problem.
There was a couple of times that we did get caught out where they would come up to either me or Chris individually and want a quick photo, and you're further away from the family because maybe we were like vlogging a bit or something like that, and you go, okay, yeah, quick selfie, just thinking you get a quick selfie of them. But no, they've fished you out and they drag you back to where the girls are, and they want a whole photo shoot. So that did happen a few times, even with us trying to say no to having the photos. But I think I know the incident you're talking about, and you're talking about the lady that got a bit overexcited and grabbed Bella's hand, arm, her elbow, and pulled her.
And Bella like shouted out, and it kind of shocked us.
Well, the training with the girls, and most definitely Bella, they've all got their Apple tags, an Apple Watch for Olivia, so we can see via our phones where they are at all times. But we did say, and this was their training going to India, that if they were touched or pulled in any direction, to yell as loud as they possibly could. This may have been a slight exaggeration because we were just in the queue, I think, to get a bottle of water.
We were inside
a cafeteria,
where they sell refreshments. So it wasn't out and about. It was like literally in a queue.
And Bella did yelp as loud as she can, and I noticed straight away and said, "Lady, absolutely not. Please take your hands off her." And then she apologized, looked really upset that she had done it, and then asked politely for a photograph. But I was already a bit angry that she had taken Bella's arm and grabbed her. And I said, "I'm really sorry, no chance." Yeah,
you actually got quite forceful and really straightforward. Told her flat out,
you don't grab,
get off.
You don't grab children's arms.
I think that it's kind of like understanding that now. I mean, there's the old British politeness and we don't want to offend. Have we been rude there? But actually, when you're traveling the world and you go to these different countries, you have to be direct. You have to be straight to the point, and people will respond to that. And sometimes we've been at fault of being a little bit too polite and a little bit too.
Sorry. It's a typical English
don't want to
thing
stand on any toes. But we've come to the point of actually people respond a lot more to direct of going no, and that moment was absolutely valid where somebody had grabbed Bella's arm, Bella had yelped out, and you just turned around and told her straight, get off.
I wasn't rude. There was no horrible language. There was no aggressiveness. I said, I pulled Bella back again from training. I can just pick Bella up and move her away. And I said, I didn't say get off her. I just moved Bella, and she looked quite shocked because Bella had screamed. And
you told her to sort of get off and don't grab her arm.
I didn't even remember I said get off. But I do remember her asking for a photograph afterwards, and my arm went down and said no.
Absolutely not.
And absolutely not.
And I think she did look quite shocked, but it's one of those, actually, we were well within our right. And that, I'd say, was the only situation we had where we had to be quite forceful. And
I think the lady was quite shocked that she had done it herself, because I think she
might have got a little bit overexcited And
couldn't communicate that she wanted a photograph of
Yeah,
Bella. Didn't
yeah.
expect Bella to yelp out.
Yeah.
Didn't expect her to react that way, or me. And she was a bit shocked with her own behaviour, I think, afterwards. But saying like with touching and wanting photographs, everyone was very respecting. But we did have people like, this is quite funny, because you go along and you think as women, I got told that we'd get touched. And whatever else, and be covering. So we were all wearing modest outfits, and then we were in a tuk-tuk, and Chris is there hanging out of it, like filming, sharing a driving seat with the tuk-tuk driver because there's no room at all. And this man leaned out whilst we were in traffic and stroked his arm and his skin.
Yeah,
So actually, Chris was the one that got.
I was the one who got it.
Yeah.
No,
Was it your arm? It was your arm. Was it your cheek?
I think
Your arm. Yeah.
And
he stroked.
it was
your
really
arm.
odd because it was like he was probably shocked to see, because I am really pale. Like,
Well, you've got very different skin. You've got the freckles and pale.
I think he was quite shocked to see my pale arm hanging out of a tuk-tuk.
And he just went out.
Touched my arm.
He just did a stroke.
Yeah. Which wasn't a problem at all. But
no, I think other than that, like we didn't get. We got a few hair flicks from the girls.
Yeah, touching hairs.
Touching the hair. But
there was not really any issues,
No.
and like we said, they were very, very polite when we were direct and said, "No, I'm sorry, we can't do photos."
No.
And I was actually quite shocked with how polite they were and how they responded to that. And it's just something that we have learnt since traveling, of like, just be direct, and people often respond. And in India, they were very polite and very respectful as soon as they knew that we didn't want to have photographs.
But on the other hand, I'm going to jump to another scenario of when we were in rural India, and we hadn't paid for an experience of going into the Red Fort, and we weren't on a touristy kind of thing.
We were really in a village.
We were in a village, and we were walking around just looking at the rural India and seeing the pigs running around.
Shepherds.
The shepherds with the goats.
Yeah, women carrying like water
on their
head.
heads, and seeing the goat. What was she? She was like
she was
selling.
A goat salesperson.
Yes, it was really amazing. And in that experience, they asked us for photos, and it was just like, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they were so grateful.
It was a different situation.
And well, there was more. They didn't really want the photo, did they? They wanted to shake our hands and just say hello.
They wanted to see us and speak to us. And they were so interested with the girls. Obviously, the girls were responding back to them. And there was like school kids coming out of school. And
with their tiffin. Yeah. They've got their tiffins, which was really cute. Yeah, of their food. So not a lunchbox. It's like these tiffin cases with their food.
And there's like 3 layered on top of each other, and each one's got a different dish. And they were all coming out from lunch with from school with their lunch
and
boxes,
I don't think they knew
these tiffin packs.
What hit them.
No,
that
we were just randomly walking around this village.
So that was different, and that was a different situation. And that was really nice to see the reaction of when you go, I'll get involved, I'll be here and have a photo of you. And they were really, really lovely, really genuine, and just like very kind.
All in all, our experience of the people and how they sort of welcomed us was really positive. And we met some really wonderful people, and it was just a massive part of the experience of traveling India. The people, like the culture, how they are.
It was absolutely huge, and the difference from the north to the south as well. We had an incredible experience of staying at Willmount, which wasn't in Kerala. It wasn't on the list of things to do, but they reached out on Instagram, and we just went, okay, we'll come along.
Yeah, why not?
And we went and stayed in like a big tent.
It was like a pod, like a dome that's like.
Is it a glamping?
Yeah, like glamping. Like in the UK, it's like glamping, but it's big domes. And they invited us to stay there. I think we were there for 3 nights. All of the people there, they were pretty young. They were like almost university age, or like just left university age. But we like just said yes, as we do to a lot of things. We're like, why not? What have we got to lose? Let's go experience this. This bit of glamping, this out sort of doorsy experience in the Indian jungle in Kerala, and they treated us so nice and so kind.
I think it just kind of really shows as well what the power of social media. So, like, this was an incredible experience that wasn't on our list to go and do it at all. It sprang through on a Instagram message, a DM, and then we researched like you do with all of them, and it was there. It was good, so we said yes, and we just arrived on an Instagram whim and had this absolutely unforgettable experience. And I think that's another thing, like, definitely with our trip to India, the wave of social media and content, the tidal wave that we kind of rode going on through, kind of added to our experience of things that I didn't think that we were going to be experiencing in India. And like Willmount, just to finish on Willmount, I think like it still is one of my most treasures moments of climbing this mountain. We've discussed it quite a few times over many platforms about climbing this mountain and the leeches and everything. So if you have heard that story, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's still something very much dear to my heart. And I find that it's incredible that whole experience that we had that is very magical to us wasn't even planned.
No, it was like off the cuff. We went for it, and the mountain story, and coming down that in the pitch black, like I've got a bad leg, so like basically I fell over like 4 times on the way down here and there. Didn't get injured or anything like that, but like the care of the people. This is again that we're trying to say that. So Chris has got the bad knee, and which I think that we should just rename this episode "The Bad Knee." But because Chris had a bad knee, and going downhill is the worst thing for his injury. I was okay on my feet and I was fine. I was able to get down. Olivia was good with some assistance, but the people there. They had Scarlett and Bella.
They had Scarlett and Bella. The guy that was leading us was wearing Crocs.
He was wearing Crocs.
Holding Bella. And he was so stable.
I was there. Like, it wasn't just downhill, by the way. It wasn't like a downhill footpath. No. It was insane. Yes. There was massive rocks you had to climb down. It was slippy.
The mud was slippy,
It was insane. Like, that was a nervy experience
that we all came together, had a fantastic, unforgettable time.
We did. We had an unforgettable time. But when we were in it, we were like, wow, should we be doing this? Okay, this is one of them moments where it's a little bit of a scary one. But again, it's one of those things we'll look back on, and the people there were absolutely incredible. I remember one day I asked one of them if I could get into like the local town area, because we were quite in the thick of it, in the jungle, and we were out of it. Like, there was only like small towns around us, and Tamira needed some products.
Yes, so I did. So this was a massive concern of going to India, and I said about the 2 weeks thing before going, and that is because of periods. And I am a woman, and that means that once a month I will be having a period, and I was like, I might be able to cope with one period in India because I don't know what products are available, but two, I don't know, because we're packing light and everything, but obviously we'd gone for the longer and it was well equipped, but we were in Willmount when I happened to be on my period. And Chris cannot live without Coke Zero, so it was fine, and Red Bull, and it's fine because it works hand in hand. That Chris needed to go to the shop and go and this is hilarious.
If I basically get stuck out somewhere and there isn't like Coke Zero available, or in India's case Diet Coke, which was great, it was 30 pence a can, or like absolutely things like Red Bull for the caffeine, like I absolutely love. I'm used to drinking Monster Energy, the ultra one, so zero sugar. But in India, Red Bull is manufactured in India, so you can get it quite easily. And obviously Coke Zero and Diet Coke's manufactured there as well. So they're quite common to be able to buy.
Well researched by Chris.
Definitely. I cannot get caught out. I am not unfortunately a water drinker. I can't just drink water. I've never been like that since I was young. I need some
born and bred
flavour.
Leeds, guys.
Yeah,
born
right.
and bred Leeds.
So I just can't. If you give me water, I'm gonna start getting pretty miserable. So
he does. Basically, he is like he's like he has a tantrum and everything's rubbish, just like a little boy that is just, you know, he's got the raw deal, and life is just so unfair.
Also, I do like the odd bit of chocolate as well. So I was
going off on this massive tangent.
I am going off tangent. I'm just explaining the roundabout story. I found out again that Cadbury's had manufacturing.
Oh my goodness,
in
this tangent
India.
just continues.
So there is options of these things, but we were in an external location. And another thing that I don't like is not having control of being able to grab a drink when I want to grab a drink. I like to have the option there rather than ask somebody for it. So I said to the guy, can you take me to the local town? I need to grab some essentials. One being Tamara's products. So I was willing to go in and hunt for these specific products
that I'd already sourced weeks before, that they were the good pads.
So I had the picture of this product on my phone, and then I was on the hunt. Basically, all I wanted to get was my Cokes and a bit of dairy milk.
But he knew he could not return without the pads.
Yeah, definitely not. So I went in, and the guys just drove me right down the hill, like no problems, drove me right there. And then I said I need to get something from the pharmacy or whatever. So he took me just to like this hole in the wall of this old guy in there that sold like paracetamol and all that kind of.
Oh, you see those shops all over India.
And
yeah.
I literally just showed this guy a picture of the product, and he just goes hunting round in the back and just comes out of nowhere with the exact product. So literally he
wrapped it up,
everything. Yeah, he then put the product on a piece of newspaper like it was a fish and chips from the UK and wrapped it up in newspaper and handed it over. So
like it was a lovely gift.
Yeah.
It was nice to open and receive.
I secured the goods on that in the good books. And then
they were necessities. That isn't chocolate and wine that he came back with.
Wine?
Wine is a necessity when you're on your period.
Oh, okay. No, I definitely didn't come back with wine. But I came back with your necessity products, and then I
bought yourself a load of chocolate
and found a local store. I bought every can of Red Bull he had in there, a massive crate of Diet Cokes, about 10 chocolate bars, and just got myself back to the domes because I knew we were isolated. Can you
just confirm for everyone that's listening?
Yeah.
How many days were we staying in the dome?
3 nights. But I don't like being isolated without my comforts. So I was delighted. I was like so thankful to them. I think I gave them the equivalent of like £3 or £4 or whatever for taking me there, and they were like really happy with that. But they didn't ask for anything. They were just happy to help, and they were just super kind. And the guy in the shop, the old guy who just had the stuff in the pharmacy, it's not like walking into your local Boots. It was literally a hole in the wall, but these are the experiences that you just don't forget, and that is what India is full of.
That is like going back to us saying about living life and not a simulation. That is it. We were going from place to place, and we had decided to say yes. I had come on my period. We'd realised we were that isolated. We didn't realise how far we were. And these are the real situations that you're in, and it's life to life stuff. You're not just on a holiday where you're like, oh, it's okay, I'm not going to come on my period this week. We've organised the timing right, all this stuff. Well, I've got everything packed up for this time. This is livable
if you're
life.
travelling somewhere for a month, it's going to happen. And you just got to be aware of that. And this particular time, we weren't in the city. We weren't in New Delhi. We weren't in an area where there's a shopping complex. We were in the Indian jungle in a glamping spot, and we still managed to secure the goods, i.e. the Diet Coke. Pretty good.
And chocolate. But yeah, that was an incredible experience, and I think that it's just incredible going to these places, and on top of that, what we do as a job of content creation, it is hard and we have to go get the job done, but we do really enjoy it. But these experiences, and India, it became phenomenal. And I think we've said it a few times throughout our platforms about India, because we're walking around with cameras.
Yeah.
And people really acknowledge that we have the cameras.
Yeah.
The safety aspect.
Yeah.
I think it
goes up
helped.
a level.
Yeah.
Yeah. People respect the cameras without a doubt. And nobody doesn't want to be filmed. There's none of that. They
No.
really acknowledge it. They're excited to see you.
Yeah.
They give you respect. Your safety levels do go up because they don't come and hassle you.
No.
But in terms of like what we do and the difficulty, like we've just said at the start of this podcast, that a simple video, really, what we filmed this past week, took us 3 days to film and over a day to edit. And that was for a simple video in the local area. Like, so you can sort of appreciate how hard it is when we're filming on the go and getting content, editing it, uploading it, internet speeds, timing, all that. It is challenging, really challenging. It's hard work, and people don't realise how tough that is. But we do get it done, and because we were so proficient in India, and it kicked off straight away. I mean, our first YouTube video hit 1.3 million views.
Yeah, that was a big moment.
And kicked it off. And then from then on, the opportunities open up. You're motivated to do more. You're motivated to show more. You're feeling good. The short form, the TikToks that Tamara was doing, like the train TikTok that Tamara did, ended up all over India on the news.
But this is a massive point. Because India don't have TikTok,
Yeah.
it was my short form video that was on Instagram Reels as well.
Instagram.
So it's shared all the way across. And it just went absolutely huge. It is still getting shared now.
Yeah.
Currently around India in the news.
But it was to the point where we would turn up to a new hotel in a completely different location. And they were so excited to see us because they'd just seen us on the news the other day.
Yeah.
And that is all through our content, all through the work that we're putting in. And then these opportunities open up. But the people there really respected us for it, really got excited and treated us so well.
I think like this is like a massive point to take. I think they're just a bit fed up of people going over there and filming the worst sides, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like we drove past some pretty horrific slums.
Yeah.
We drove past pretty horrific beggars.
Lots.
It didn't look nice.
If you go to
some
India,
of the food did not look good.
We could have made a meal out of going up to somebody in the street making food, and we could have basically, you're taking the mick out of them and you're filming it and you're shoving it online, and people, it does get a reaction, and then India gets a bad name. But we have said several times that the food that we had in India was one of, if not the best places that we've had food.
But
And their food was incredible.
I'm just going to say this, if it doesn't say anything else. I've spoken many a times about Olivia and our troubles with Olivia eating and my worries of her eating and how it's come further along. Olivia loved the Indian food.
Yeah, all the food.
Her smile, she was happy to receive it. She wasn't worried for once about what she was going to have.
Yeah.
She absolutely lapped it.
She
up.
loved it. I mean, we've said before, this travelling lifestyle, the decision we made completely changed Olivia's life, as in the foods that she would eat. Really has. And we're incredibly proud as parents, and it makes us feel really, really good about it.
But if a picky eater is saying that all of the food in India is good,
then you know it's good.
It's good. And I want to clear up one massive thing right now, that the food in the north of India, absolutely delicious.
Absolutely.
Because I was very nervous about Delhi and the north and Delhi belly and everything like this. But actually, I preferred it a little bit to the south.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. I mean, we couldn't get enough of it.
And
it was very, very nice. The food, honestly, you've got to use your common sense. You've got to choose wisely. You've got to have your anti-bac on your hands and stuff here and there. And you are going to get sick here and there from the pollution and the bacteria. You are going to get it's natural when you're out and in the thick of it. But the food over there, as long as you're not going to places that you can quite clearly see there could be an issue, which a lot of these people that are filming the content do just for the reaction.
But they do. They film it and then throw the food away. They don't even eat it.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to see the reaction and the happiness of us actually showing the good side and the beautiful side.
The people
the untouched side that is lovely. Like I never another magical side was obviously we were there in Diwali.
Yeah.
And one of the moments was we weren't at this massive celebration, like a wedding or a big celebration like that. We had gone up to the Himalayas and just seeing these workers
Yeah.
that work at the hotel.
Yeah.
And they were so happy with
And
the fireworks.
excited. It was
Genuine.
like their Christmas day.
Yeah.
They were like setting fireworks off. They were cheering. They were laughing with each other, all the
Yeah.
workforce. We got invited there. It was a beautiful location
Yes.
called Daleside Manor in Kasauli in the Himalayas. It was stunning. But it was Diwali. It was their holiday.
Yeah.
And they were so, again, incredible people to us and the children.
Yes.
But they got this one night off where they were so happy.
Yes.
Like, they
It
were
was
like
so-
kids.
that I think the girls were really shocked at experiencing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Of like seeing these workers in their work kit
Yeah.
given this freedom to celebrate
Yeah.
and fully embrace and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the girls felt the joy because you feel the joy. It's not just
You feel it from other
watch it,
people.
you feel the joy. And it was so nice seeing the girls even say that their best part about Diwali was seeing the cooks, the chefs, the housekeepers having fun with the fireworks at the top. They were pretty crazy.
On the whole, the people of India, the comments that we got, the reaction we got, they were just really thankful for us not chasing views of negativity and just showing our experience and the positive aspect. And that is what we got from it. And again, one of the most memorable trips that we've had so far on this whole journey we've been on.
I think it's like my face. You can't see my face,
Yeah.
but my face lights up when we're talking about these memories. Like we've said, it's nearly 4 months ago now.
Yeah.
And when we start talking about it, I can't help but have a smile on my face.
There's so many
And, yeah,
experiences and stories within stories of this happening. Oh, and then that happened.
I feel like this podcast, we've really gone. Like
Yeah.
our memories have gone, oh, I remember this and I
Yeah.
remember that. So we do apologise if this has been a little bit all over the place. Bear in mind, I did complete a Hyrox sim earlier.
But we wanted to just do a natural
Yes.
chat about this is how we really feel about India.
I
This-
feel like we
this is
verbal
our-
diarrheaed a little bit.
You
But
kind of, if you sat in the front room with us, we're on the sofa and we're just chatting away. Like, this is how we genuinely experienced India and felt when we were there. If you want a bit more of an in-depth info about India and our experience and the things that we did, go onto our YouTube channel. We do a
Yes.
sit-down talk and show some more visual stuff on there. And that goes into a bit more about what we did and different experiences.
And a bit more of the timeline of where we visited and what's worthwhile
Yeah.
visiting. I'm sorry, we have been a bit all over the place, but we got carried away
It's
talking
just a
about
bit more of a candid chat.
We're talking about these situations,
Yeah.
and it was so good. And like the children, I think that there's so much I can talk about with India that I don't even know where to start, and I dot all over the place. Like seeing everything out in rural and compared to metropolitan, there is so much to talk about.
So yeah, we just wanted to have a general relaxed chat today about how we really feel about it, and as you can probably tell from how we're speaking, it was 95% positive. Yeah, there's always going to be the pollution. It was a bit polluted here and there. The dirt, it was a bit dirty here and there.
Muddy.
Yeah,
Muddy.
It was muddy.
Yeah,
muddy, dusty. Yeah, you do come across like a lot of beggars. If you go in any car in any place in India and you stop at traffic lights, you will get beggars knocking on the window. It just will happen. But you know, our time there was 95% positive, and our sort of what I would say to people wanting to go to India and take it on, even if you're a family or if you're a couple or an individual traveller, and you want to sort of break yourself in gently with it, you can follow kind of what we did of finding yourself a nice hotel to stay at for the first bit, so it's kind of like a safety net, and then venturing out a little bit further, and once you gain your confidence, you can delve in a little bit deeper. Like we ended up having train journeys. We stayed in not just nice 5-star hotels. We were in 3-star hotels. We stayed at a homestay. It was a hotel, but it was like more of a homestay. That was amazing as well.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you, and like having our experience now of what we had in India, and you know how relieved I am it wasn't the worst case scenario of when we were planning to go. And like I was saying, I was like 2 weeks and that's it, and being really nervous about it. Would I change all of that prep of training? Having the vitamin B, vitamin D, whatever vitamins I was taking, and having the probiotics, would I make sure that the girls weren't drilled as much? Would I make sure all of that prep wasn't in place? Absolutely not. And I'd advise anyone that's going as a family, be prepared.
Yeah, prepare yourself.
And be aware. That is it. It's just common sense.
Definitely prepare yourself. Do your research, but don't take everything you see online for granted.
No.
That you're going to get sick, you're going to be scammed, it's going to be filthy. Don't take that for granted and for what you see, because it isn't. That's like a small percentage
and
of
if you go and search for it, you will find that, and 100%. It's shocking. But if you try to avoid it or look for the positive side or the nice side, you're going to find that as well. So I'd say
incredible, like the history, the views, the stature.
How many forts? I had no idea that India had so many forts. Every single place we went to, there's another fort to go and look at. It's just very, very interesting, the history behind it and everything. But as we're talking along these lines of like the bad side and the good side, let's go on to, what was your worst moment of India? What would you pick out as your worst moment when you're like, wow, this has gone wrong now?
Well, I think worst moment, okay, so there's a couple of bits of scamming here and there, but we never got scammed. We just got haggled a bit, and then obviously the Uber one that we've explained, and then a couple more like beggars here and there, people wanting to be our tour guide and stuff like that, but nothing really like that ever bad happened. And we dealt with that. We had no food poisoning problems.
Stop! So you're washing over it. Your worst moment.
But my worst
moment,
I'd say the most toughest moment for me was in Jodhpur. I think it was Jodhpur, and we were walking in a really crowded area where there was markets, local markets, and there were so many people there, and it was like a scene what you would envision India to be like. It really was. We got out of the tuk-tuk and it was just insane. And
near the clock tower.
Near the clock tower. The girls were really tight to us. We were like on it. And then this little girl came up beside us and she had a balloon, and she was basically begging for money and wanted us to buy a balloon and then buy things. But she was relentless and she didn't stop. But she was so sweet and almost like the only way I can explain it is if you've watched Oliver Twist, and they're a bit of Jack the Lad. They've got a bit of lingo and they know how to charm you and sort of wrap you around the finger. She had a real streetwise thing about her where she could crack a joke and laugh and smile, and you'd say, really sorry, no, leave us alone, we're not going to buy it, really sorry. But she would just smile and laugh, and she had such a little character about her. And in the back of my mind, it was difficult to walk away from that. You want to buy the balloon. You want to give her whatever you can. We're talking about 6 years old here. She was so young. But you just don't know the backstory. You don't know who's collecting that money round the corner. Why is she there? Who's making her go out and do that? And I think that was probably not like the worst, but the toughest moment was that kind of thing. And it does happen. And walking away from a little girl that we're there with our 3 little girls, it does make you feel, it pulls on your heartstrings.
I think it's really hard because you can really see that they are working for other people, because they're given these products to go around and try and sell, and they're being used for that. And it's this predicament that if you give the money to that child, then the person that's in charge of that child sees that the tactic's working and will keep that child doing the job. And you're in this circle of it's working, so you're the business plan of the person in charge, the business model is working, and it's heartbreaking. And it was really tough for you. You were really quite upset about that. I remember that. Really, really quite a tough one. It was awful.
So I'd say stands out in my mind.
100%.
What about you?
For me, it was definitely when we were missing the train from Jaipur to, not the first one which we nearly missed. It was the second one.
Well, we caught 2 trains and we were late for them both.
We were late for them both, but the second one we were actually late for.
We were super late.
And we were really looking at me like, well, when we came in from Jodhpur to Jaipur, it was running late, so I'm hoping this one's going to be running late. But I was still in the Uber at the time, and then I was just like, it's done. I looked at intercity links if I can get a car from the railway. We had already known that the railway was a tough place at night time to arrive. The people around the railway, it's tough. So I knew it was running late, and then we got out. And we kind of knew it was running late because it hadn't left yet. And we ran through the security because there was weirdly a little bit of security. So we threw our bags in, collected our bags, which you have to fight for your bag back as well because you don't know if someone else is just going to pick it up. And then we ran through, had no idea where this train was. There was people absolutely everywhere. And I knew that Chris had the bad knee. And,
no, not the bad news.
And he's got the rucksack on and the big suitcase, and he was carrying. We decided that it was up the stairs. It weren't escalators; it's up the stairs. So we went up the stairs, and it was to the left. And then I saw the train. I saw it arriving, so we ran for it. And then suddenly, everyone ran for it.
And we're not talking like
2 people or 3 people,
or not even 10 people.
No,
we're talking about 100 people plus. Some of them were running on the rail tracks.
Yeah, the one man fell off fell off.
Absolutely mental.
It was absolutely crazy, and I had the 3 girls around me, and we all have the tactic of holding onto my bag so I could feel they were attached. And I had Bella, her poor arm, bless her, and I ran through and I was running, and I shouted to the girls, look, can you see Daddy in the background? And they said yes, and I sprinted for this train with all of them, and I just kept saying, can you see Chris? Can you see Daddy? Can you see Daddy? Yes, can still see him. And as soon as we arrived, I knew our cart was near the front, so we had to keep going running past, but as soon as Chris had arrived to the bottom one, I just got on.
We were on, We were
on, but I would say probably that was the most scariest time.
But again, amazing memories. Like we talk about that now, we laugh, we're like, wow.
I don't know, I've got anxiety talking about it.
We have ran in the thick of it, in the herd for a train in India.
And I think we jumped on that one, and we were both like, we were all cheering,
we were celebrating,
all 5 of us.
The carriage,
bearing in mind, we look very different compared to everyone anyway.
The rest of the carriage were just staring at us.
Absolutely hilarious, but what a moment.
What an experience that was.
What an experience. But yeah, that was probably our worst moments. Other than that, I think favourite moment wise, I think we've covered a lot of our favourite moments.
There's so many favourite moments. The whole thing was just unforgettable and right up there with our top experiences in life, without a doubt.
I think actually when you ask favourite moments, I think we do it a lot around the dinner table with the girls. We say this quite often, and if you ask them about India and their favourite moments, what they come out with in their stories, we love doing it because India is big at the moment. What they come out with,
these little family moments. I mean, for us, there's a big one. There's a Taj Mahal. What an achievement and breathtaking and amazing.
There's the climbing the mountain with leeches, amazing, breathtaking. And then there's moments where there's crazy puppies going everywhere. There's moments where there's monkeys everywhere. There's really hilarious moments when you're eating a samosa and there's tomato ketchup on it. There's just it's just
really hard to pick
a
standout moment,
but there were so many that came from that 5 weeks.
So many
Absolutely incredible. We have actually really enjoyed just revisiting, chatting, and I know that we
could go on and on talking about it.
We haven't even mentioned Goa. We haven't even mentioned a lot of the places.
There's so many little side stories and things behind everything, and you could just talk about it, but really we wanted to just have that chat today of what we really feel about it, and that nothing
more
behind
genuine,
the scenes crazy happened. We weren't in danger. We didn't get super ill and sick. We had an unforgettable time, and it feels like such an achievement. It feels like a medal. That Indian flag, to collect that, to go and see that in real life and know that you've done that is such an achievement, and it is incredibly special.
I don't even feel like we went to now. I don't feel like it was a collection.
Yeah.
Like we went in and we achieved that. I feel like I would easily go back.
I'd go back. Yeah,
I really want to see Mumbai.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's
there's
just
many places to go.
I think, like, you know, it might be on the plans this year. I don't know as of yet. There are other plans,
Yes.
but it might pop in there to go there. But I would definitely say this: as a family of 5, with our youngest being 5,
all girls,
and being blonde, blue-eyed, sticking out like sore thumbs.
Yeah,
India is 110% worth it.
Yes.
And do it. But make sure you are prepared.
Yes. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave us a comment if you're on YouTube. Give us a review if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We have really enjoyed this one, and we will be back next week with episode number 3 of season 2.
With an update on Chris's knee.
Yes, big updates coming. Hopefully I can walk.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.